Hey guys, so a couple weeks ago, month ago, whatever, I posted a video about what I keep in the cab of my Tacoma, kind of at the start of our truck EDC type videos, and I mentioned that eventually I'd get into what's in the bed of my Tacoma. So I had some time today, thought I'd pull the camera out, so let's get to it. Continuing on with our truck EDC videos. Alright, so we're out here and I got my GoPro on today. I got it on my GoPro chest harness, so if the video quality isn't the greatest, I apologize, and if it turns out okay, I'll upload it. If it doesn't, I'll redo it with my other camera. So here we are, we're continuing on the truck gear EDC video of what's in the Tacoma, what I carry every day, just like truck EDC. This is my 04 Tacoma double cab, set up for off-roading, overlanding every day. I got my safari tent, you know, it's just set up the way I like it. So we're gonna just continue on with what I got in the bed of the Tacoma. So right up front here, I don't know if you guys can see that well or not. Again, we'll see how this turns out. I just keep just a general shovel. It's attached by one of the quick fists, just on one of the factory holes in the bed of the Tacoma. Right here, I have my CB antenna that, if you guys watched the first video, I have a Cobra CB in there. I don't keep it on there all the time. I don't really like the way it looks, and I hardly ever use my CB. So I just keep it right here in the back of the truck, and I can just hook it up whenever I need to. And then right here, I just have a blank quick fist, and I was thinking about putting an axe there, but I have the axe already currently in my box. So during the summer months, my truck has the canopy on it with the safari tent, and in the winter time, I generally keep my toolbox in here. I have a Cobalt Lowe's brand toolbox, and then I keep everything in there during the winter time. So canopy's on my truck for part of the time, and the toolbox is in there during the winter, fall, early spring months. So back in the back here, we're just going to climb into the Tacoma. And everything fits in the Lowe's toolbox, but not everything fits. And this is just a Plano tub. Not everything fits in here. So right now I have this is a Stanley FatMax 700. It's a battery, jump starter, inverter, and air compressor. And it's got a little light here. Right here in the back, this is a Copeland 1 gallon, or 1.5 gallons, I never remember. 1.5 gallon fuel jug. And I actually don't really like this thing in my truck. This is actually for my quad. I'm planning on getting a Rotopax 2 gallon, which I'm hoping will lay flat in my toolbox. So this can just go back on the quad. I just keep it in there for now. But when I get the Rotopax one, I'm going to keep it filled. It's always a good idea to keep your truck at least a half tank of gas. You know, if you have to bug out, maybe you're in a situation where there's a lot of traffic and you need to be idling for a long period of time, it's always a good idea to keep at least a half a tank of gas in your truck. So carrying extra fuel obviously is a good thing for situations like that. If you're in traffic, maybe you need to bug out, maybe you're camping up in the mountains and you just need to have extra fuel. That's what I like to do. So in the back here behind my box, that is my high lift jack. And my high lift jack isn't necessarily mounted in any special way right now. It's actually just kind of held up to the back of the cab with pressure from the box. This box is super heavy. I have a lot of stuff in this box. So we're just going to kind of get into the box now and just kind of show you what we got. And yeah, hopefully you guys like it. So again, this is just a cheapo Plano tub. Cheapo Plano. That was a stupid lame rhyme, wasn't it? So I just keep this thing locked at all times, along with my canopy. My canopy is always locked as well. So, you know, with people nowadays, you just can't ever really be too cautious, can you? So this thing weighs a ton. We're just going to kind of open it up and just kind of give you a general look as to what's in here before I start ripping this thing out. This thing's a jigsaw puzzle on its own. But everything fits really nicely in here. It's not exactly the easiest to get things out that are like down at the bottom, but you know, it all fits really well, and we're just gonna kind of dig into it here. So I'm gonna clip my GoPro on my chest harness, and we're gonna pull this thing out. Again, it weighs a ton, and we'll give you a better look. Maybe out here in the sunlight, you can get a better look as to what's in here. So right up front here, I'm sure you can tell. Maybe I can do this one-handed. We'll see. So, you know, right here, we just have a pair of boots. It's a good idea to have a pair of rubber boots in your truck. You know, if you're trying to pull a friend out of the mud. I have friends like that need help being pulled out all the time. So, you know, you have a good pair of boots. You can throw those on. Fire extinguisher. So this is kind of hit or miss whether or not you want to keep this in the cab or whether you want to keep it in the bed. Right now, I just keep it in the bed. This is just a generic BC fire extinguisher. You can pick these up at Walmart. I think this was like 12 bucks or something. Roll of duct tape. Some brake cleaner. Maybe I won't take all of this stuff out, but I'll just kind of pull the stuff out that I need to pull out and then leave the stuff in here that I don't need to pull out. So brake clean, you know, brake clean is kind of one of those chemicals that is misused for like 99% of what you use it for. You know, not just for cleaning brakes, but for cleaning almost any kind of car part, cleaning oil off the ground, cleaning your hands maybe. Probably not recommended, but I know I've sprayed my hands with it. Keep some extra brake fluid in here. My truck doesn't go through or leak any brake fluid, but you know, in the event that it does, or if you have a friend that maybe needs some. This is a benzomatic propane torch. So, you know, if you feel lazy and you don't feel like using any matches, crank this bad boy open. And instant fire. So benzo torch, pretty cheap. Picked those up for like 18 bucks for the whole kit. Lysol wipes. So if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm kind of a clean freak when it comes to like my hands and stuff. So keep some Lysol wipes in there. Good for cleaning your hands, maybe after like a day of shooting or something like that. I keep some wet ones in my range bag, but this is just a good thing to, you know, have at all times, I find out. And some engine starting fluid. Again, my Tacoma is a pretty rock solid truck for the most part. I've never had any issues with it, but this is just kind of like, you know, it's an EDC truck. So we're keeping all kinds of stuff in your truck that you might need. So engine starting fluid, just some trash bags, some shop towels, not cheap paper towels, but these are actually shop towels, you know, checking your oil, cleaning up oil, doing whatever. This is a Siphon multi-use pump, so if you need to transfer fluid somehow, maybe siphon gas out in an emergency, in a SHTF situation, you need to siphon gas out of a down vehicle, you got it. This is some extra oil I've actually been meaning to take out of there from some recent oil changes. A good LED magnetic light. So, you know, if it's nighttime and you're working on your rig or whatever like that, you need like a good light that you can magnetic underneath your hood. My Tacoma doesn't have a light under the hood. That's factory. So just a good light to do some work, you know, under your hood, on the side of your truck, whatever. So a good light is always good to have. Gloves. So gloves, these are some leather pigskin gloves. Great for like working with a chainsaw. And these are just some generic kind of cold weather reflective gloves. Those are good to keep at all times. You know, your hands are one of your most used tools, right? So keeping your hands safe is very important. WD-40, I don't think I need to explain to you the good uses out of WD-40. Yeah, you guys know what WD-40 is. Spotlight. Keep a good flashlight in my truck, a Maglite 3-cell or 3D-cell LED light, but you know, a 12-volt spotlight, really good for trying to look for something in the woods or whatnot. A pair of jumper cables, so it's always a good idea to have like a backup. So I have that battery pack there as well, but you know, have a good pair of jumper cables. You know, I'm not the best at upkeeping that battery in that thing, so sometimes the battery's dead. I actually just charged it, so it should read fully charged, but having a good pair of jumper cables, you know, in fact, you know, if somebody called me right now and said, I need a jump, can you come jump me? Chances are I'd probably pull these out anyway, because it's a faster direct source than that battery pack. But those battery packs do work really well, and I'm not trying to downgrade it in any way, but just a good old pair of jumper cables is kind of a good thing to use. So this right here, this bag is just, I'll just kind of leave it in here, but this bag generally just has like a bunch of straps in it. So I have a couple cinch down straps right here on the sides for quick and easy grab. Inside here, I keep another pair of gloves. Man, gloves are where it's at. These are just some good, you know, rubber gloves. Toe strap. A couple more ratcheting straps. This is actually a hook that goes into my receiver for assisting and towing people out. Miscellaneous bungee cords. Replaceable ball for my hitch. So my trailer, both my trailers, my utility trailer, my boat trailer, they have a 1 7/8 inch hitch, but most stuff is a 2-inch hitch. So I have the 2-inch replaceable ball. And that's pretty much it in here. I move stuff a lot and tie stuff down. I'm always hauling stuff in my trailer, so just, you know, always have a lot of extra tie downs, I find, is just a general good thing. And I could just take this and pull this whole bag out when and if I need to. So let's just zip this up really fast here so that I don't set my camera down. Zip this up here so we don't have anything random just kind of falling in there that I don't want in there throughout the rest of the video. Underneath this bag, if you can see, is just a generic like 5x7 tarp. And I actually have a camouflage tarp that I'm going to replace that with. But for now, I just have a blue tarp under there. You know, if it's muddy out, you're camping, or you're just whatever, your truck just broke down, you just went through a mud hole or whatever, or you just pulled a friend out and you need to work on his truck for some reason, you don't want to be laying down in the dirt and the mud. So throw a tarp down. They're a couple dollars, and you're clean, you're good to go. Always have a good axe in your car. So this is one of the Gerber axes made by Fiskars. These things are ridiculously sharp, and they work for pretty much any application you're going to need to. They have a good hammer on the back, and the blade stays super sharp. So having a good axe, super important. Having a good machete. This is just one that I've had for years. Keep it sharp at all times for hacking down brush or whatever. Pair of bolt cutters. These are 18-inch Pittsburgh bolt cutters. You know, cheap bolt cutters from Harbor Freight. But, you know, if you need to cut into a gate, cut into a lock, whatever, you know, bolt cutters, it's a good thing to have. They're small, they're cheap, and it's a good thing to have. This is just a bow saw. So, you know, redundancy. We have an axe, we have a machete, but, you know, having a good bow saw, it's a good thing to have. Trimming branches, trimming limbs out of the way down a trail, whatever. Back here, these are just some big zip ties, and then a couple shop rags for, you know, oil, general cleanup, whatever. Tape measure. Then this right here, I'm not going to pull this out, but this is a 12-volt air compressor that plugs directly onto your batteries, and I'm actually planning on hardwiring this eventually directly into my truck, just leaving it maybe underneath the hood and bolting it down and hardwiring it in so I could have onboard air. Right here, I'll put this back in just a second. This is an ARB 4x4 recovery tire seal kit, and I've actually used this thing and it works really well. So, you know, for you got a flat whatever down the trail, you know, you're way out in the country and you don't feel like pulling your spare out, or maybe your spare is flat, that can happen. One of these quick tire seal kits, you know, you push down through where the hole is, you pull out whatever, you know, the defective object is, a nail, screw, whatever, pull that out, and then you shove one of these rubber things down there. They work, they really do, and it's a good thing that you can use until you get to a tire repair place. So we'll drop this down here. Pair of headphones. So, you know, I have a nice pair of Peltor Range Guards. Those are my shooting ones. But for, you know, just general hearing protection, whatever, I just keep a cheap pair of earphones in my truck. This is I'm not going to pull it out, but this is my truck toolkit. So anything and everything you can imagine. Hammer, ratcheting wrenches, screwdrivers, ratchets, more gloves, scissors, screwdrivers, lots of miscellaneous electrical repair stuff, nut drivers, picks, anything you can imagine for your general toolkit, it's in here. You know, trail repair and SHTF bug out situations. You know, when you leave, you want to have tools in case something happens. And I have pretty much every tool in this bag, in this box, with me at all times to where I can touch every single nut and screw and bolt on my truck. So it's a good idea to have a very good trail truck EDC bug out toolkit that always stays in your car at all times. None of the stuff ever leaves here that I need to go work on anything in my house. This is just stuff that stays in here, and again, it's in a really nice tool bag. I can pull it out, work on whatever I need to work on. In the back here, this is just a general pry bar. Back here, this is a multimeter, voltmeter for checking voltage, you know, checking out, you know, wires or whatever. And then I think that's my CB mount for my antenna, some heat shrink, and that's pretty much it, guys, that stays in here.